your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day. While the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor, he was telling you, build your own house.
Welcome to the Gilchrist Experience. As you see, I'm reaching back into the past and giving you an old Malcolm piece. Because we have an old soldier here that was 5% in his early days, and he spent, what, 35 years in prison?
Correct.
And welcome to the show, and we're going to talk about solitary confinement with Victor Pate, and of course, an officer for 20 years, Graham Weatherspoon. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
Give us your full name and tell us your experience.
Well, my name is Donald Curtis, also known as Comrade Don on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I served 35 years in prison for murder, robbery, committed not too far from here in Midtown Manhattan in 1984. I was released from prison April 10th, 2019 of this year. So I've only been out 6 months and a couple of weeks. And I've hit the ground running, being politically active.
So you've been in prison since 86?
Since 84.
84?
1984, correct.
All right. What's the world like today?
Well, the world like today is a world that I don't feel I'm a part of because I don't know it.
Okay.
I'm at a total, befuddled, let's say, is just a word, I'm messed up.
Okay.
I don't relate to it. I'm learning it.
Okay.
And it's a curious thing that you would ask that because there's a question on my page that asks, if you could be anywhere in the world, where would you want to be? So when you slide it over on my Facebook page, it says, another universe.
Another universe. Because this is another universe to you.
This is another universe to me.
So what's so startling about it?
Well, the technological advances is one.
Yeah, that's...
And the morals and values.
The morals?
The morals and values of this society as opposed to the society that I grew up in the 60s, 70s.
Okay. So you relate to this Malcolm piece?
I relate to Malcolm very well. Somebody just sent a piece to me saying, with Malcolm with my name under it, but I could never fill Malcolm's shoes. I'm not trying to fill anybody's shoes.
Right.
I have a hard time filling my own shoes.
Okay.
Okay. Malcolm was a king.
Right.
A black king, a legend.
Right. Amen.
And he is gone before his time. We won't get into the circumstances of that. But when Malcolm died, we went back at least 75 years.
Mm. Okay. All right. You understand. Well, you see how we fought amongst each other back in those days.
Of course.
But you see even a bigger strain today. Or did you see it, Well, what caused you to go to prison was hate. Explain how that your effect, how white people affected you.
Well, at that time, when you're miseducated.
Okay, there you go.
And you're taught truths and half-truths.
Right.
With a lot of ignorance.
Okay.
In the ingredients.
Okay.
You tend to succumb to that.
You're a product of your environment.
You're a product of your environment, which you don't have to be. But if it's pressed upon you,
okay,
then you become a product of the environment because that's all you know. This is all being told to you.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so I was a 5%. My name was Supreme. Everybody knows what Supreme means. There's nothing higher than the word Supreme. Okay, so the white man was the devil, as far as I was told.
Okay.
Hindsight is 20/20. Many years later, I learned that the white man wasn't the devil. I learned it the same way Malcolm learned it.
Okay.
By realization of the truth, by interacting with Caucasian people, by having Caucasian people in my family.
Okay.
So then I learned that they're not the devil. But at that time that I did this crime, you were the devil. So I despised.
So you became a devil yourself by killing somebody.
Well, yes, and yes, because to do that deed, you have to be evil.
That's it.
You have to be evil. Right. The only person that's evil is the devil. That's
we all have a demon inside of us. It's a struggle amongst all of us, especially if you're black and oppressed like we are. So you have to appeal to your better nature. That's what you learned.
Well,
many years?
Yes, we are oppressed. Well, let me tell you a curious thing. Although I was born right here in Harlem.
Okay.
I was mostly raised by my paternal grandparents. My father's a Cherokee Indian.
Okay.
He's still alive, thank God, to this day.
How old is he now?
He's pushing 90s, in the 90s. Still alive, he's in better shape than me. Let's put it like that.
Good.
So I think he can beat me in arm wrestling right now.
Oh. How does that feel, right?
Hey.
I will see
genetic
him.
Is genetic.
I will see him for the first time in a long time, at least these 35 years. I'll be leaving to see him next week. Wednesday, I'll be leaving here. All right. Traveling to the state where he's at to see him for the first time in like 37 years. But here's the thing about oppression. When I was reared, mostly back and forth down south in North Carolina,
okay,
my paternal grandparents rescued us and saved us. And when my paternal grandfather died, that's when I went a wire. But I never experienced any racism in the state or the city of Fayetteville in North Carolina in my entire life.
We're talking about Fayetteville, North Carolina.
I shot
you
him out all
never
the time.
experienced any racism
in
Fayetteville, North Carolina?
I never personally experienced any racism. Maybe if it happened, I wasn't conscious of it.
But you were born in New York here.
Born here in New York.
You mean it was better down there than it was in New York?
I kid you not, if we could reverse the times. Now, the first time I experienced hands-on racism was when I arrived in the Department of Correction and Community Supervision in upstate New York.
Okay.
I didn't think Satan even existed in the sense that they say the devil with a pitchfork until then. But the racism that I speak, I've never seen that anywhere other than on television in other states, but firsthand experience. It's a dreaded disease, and it's horrible. It's a taught disease. It's something that I told somebody in a post a few weeks ago on my page that racism is less now than it was 50 years ago.
Okay.
So somebody didn't understand what I meant by that. So I said, well, let's go to the stats of interracial dating, interracial marriages, and the teenagers that are interracially boyfriend and girlfriends now.
Yeah.
Police children are upstairs when the cop come home, listening to Tupac. He might not like it.
Right.
They walking with their pants hanging down.
Yeah.
Right.
They got on some Sean John. They got some shine around their neck.
Okay.
The officer might not like it, but I like it.
Okay.
Okay? Because the kid recognizes I have no reason to hate you. I have no reason not to dress like you.
Well, that's been throughout our generations. We
Right.
had that in the 50s. We had that in the 60s.
That's correct.
Right.
And
Elvis
the
Presley.
70s and the
Elvis
80s.
Presley got all his music
Yep. Stolen.
from gospel churches.
Right.
Well, I always say we're the spiritual people of the planet. And when you go against that spirit, you fall prey to what the devil, the demons that are out there. And you felt that that's what happened to you at 22.
That is what happened to me. And I accosted a
So
Caucasian man.
you got this turned on you.
Well, yes.
In effect,
In effect, yes, because I still wear the mark of Cain to this day. I wear it for the rest of my life, but God has redeemed me.
okay, all right,
Okay, so that burden is lifted
okay.
off
Right.
There
me.
you go.
My past does not define who I am or who I'm going to
Amen.
be today or tomorrow.
Amen, brother.
So I'm good with that. I'm good with God.
Okay, hey, that's
That's what's important to me right now.
a black man without God is dead, as far as
Right.
I'm concerned. I mean, that's my
True
personal
statement.
opinion.
True
But
statement. So,
it seemed to follow out to people I meet. Without God, I don't think you can survive this.
no, I know for a fact, without
Okay.
God,
Okay,
I would have been dead a long time
okay,
ago.
amen.
As I tried to take my life while incarcerated.
Okay,
But God said, wait a minute,
oh,
I got something for you.
okay,
Just hold tight.
all right.
So I fought. I had Satan here and God here. Many years.
Okay.
And
Most of the 34 you were in there?
for the whole 35. My intention was to come out and hurt some people that I wanted to get revenge on for a
Okay.
long time. See, because I had Satan here and I had God here. So I wrestled with this demon. But I'm going to tell you a curious thing. When I walked through the prison gates and I see my daughter standing by the car and her husband, a fiance rather, everything that I had, the rage, the anger, this revenge that I wanted, the hate that had built up, that carried me, really hate carried me these years, it disappeared. To this day, I don't know where it went. It's gone. I live and breathe civil duties every day, political activities. If you don't see me going and coming to the rap office, at some political event or protest, I'm in the house. It's only 2 houses I go to. 2 houses, no other houses. I have no male friends. I have some colleagues and comrades. That's a difference. A big difference. Because he did time 35 years like me. So I really have you never see me with anybody. You'll never see me in a club. I never drink. I never use drugs. Still on to this day. My vice is cigarettes though. I'm trying to quit that.
You can.
But I don't have a street life, a social life.
Okay.
So I told somebody last week that sex is really not a motivating factor in my life at this point. I'm trying to reach the apex of a goal, okay? And I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to make a difference so I can leave a legacy other than the negative one that they have on the rap sheet down the block.
Okay.
I want to leave a legacy. So when I die, they say, well, he was that, but he died this. It's a big difference, man.
That word legacy was in my mind a minute before you, and I was waiting for you to finish to ask you if that was what you were focused on, because you said when you came out the gate, you saw your daughter there and her fiance, and all that rage dissipated. And I thought about, well, maybe he's looking to leave a legacy for her and for your grandchildren, you know. And that's something a lot of black men don't think about, leaving a legacy for their children and their grandchildren. Whatever we've had to struggle through. You know, I think about, sometimes I cry thinking about my father and my grandfather, the stuff they had to go through in Georgia and dealing with the Ku Klux Klan and everything, because my grandfather never learned to read or write, never voted. You know, what our people had to go through to get us where we are today, your grandparents. Those are legacies. They may not have had much. They might not have been able to give much materially,
Right.
but they gave us the love, They gave us the training. They gave us everything they had. And for us right now, not to be where we should be, like that piece with Ozzy talking about Malcolm. You know, when Malcolm and Martin died, you're right, we went backwards.
Backwards.
We went further back than we were when they were alive.
And Malcolm said that.
You know? And we really got to start thinking about legacy. That's what I think about with regard to my grandchildren and that 2 generations down and soon 3rd generation down from me.
Right.
You know, but you got your head in the right place.
Well, God got it in the right way.
Yeah.
Got your direction.
Let this mind be in you. Yes.
I love this man right here. God sent
thank
this
you.
man to me. And this man has been in my corner.
And Victor and I have been doing shows for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I give him a once a month slot, and we've saved some souls and lost a couple of close people.
Still feeling that.
Yeah,
But that just speaks to
yeah, but it's all a struggle. See, the struggle is helping one another, and I always hate to see brothers fighting amongst each other, or even killing each other. These are the problems that we have to solve. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the murders in Clinton, but we have to understand that's a demonic environment. So probably God just gave you that opening. Once you came out of that, your defenses could go down, and you finally came into the real world, spiritual world, which was saved you while you were in there, and reformed you. You actually, I see that, I say again, without God, I think being black in particular, you're a dead person inside, because you do nothing but lash out at everything around you. And the closest thing around you is your brother and your family. And that's a disease that we have to understand and learn to control. That devil on the shoulder, God and the devil in each of us. In each of us. We talk about this every show. I end the show about the God in me loves the God in you. And I mean that directly. I don't know how many people might reach, but I say it all the time because that's what we have to do. We have to deal with the spirituality in ourselves. You have to get that demon out of. We all have a demon in us. I was mad when I was 22. And my mother died, and the whole world might have exploded. I didn't care about nothing. And I was a Marine. I mean, I get drunk and just, I was terrible. But I was all, mad at everybody because something sweet and tender, something like that dies. I mean, what's righteous in the world? I spent a lot of time hating God because of that. Man, you can tell me nothing about God, man. But you live and learn, and you grow up.
Yes, indeed.
And I think we as a race of people need to grow up and stop being so evil against each other because of racism. You internalize all that stuff and start hating all white people, that disease just destroys you. That's all it does. And we've got to stop that. And until I don't think the world can change until we as a people change that. And the biggest problem is how we deal with each other. All right? Now you can tell me stories about Clinton and how we deal with each other. Did you have some stories about that?
Well, before I broach that, I want to say this.
Okay.
As before we went on air, as I said earlier, without checks and balances, and without laws in any society, it'd be total chaos.
Right.
So I don't have total disrespect for any police authority, any correctional authority. Here's my problem with this. When you take an oath to the Constitution of the state,
Right.
and to God, that you're going to protect and serve the public, and the public is paying your salary.
Right.
And these people are in your care, custody, and control, then you have a duty to honor that oath. When you don't, if you're a racist, when you come to work, leave your racism in the car, go in, honor that duty oath that you took, and you pick up your racism when you go back out the door, if you have to have it. Where I cross the line, when you cross the line with me, where you're gonna have a problem with me, is when you violate your oath. Right. Because now you're no different than me. So I'm not gonna respect you. Okay? You're supposed to be in cuffs in the cell next to me. Okay? So that's my problem.
Right.
So I think that I don't like police. I don't like crooked cops. I don't like racist cops. I don't like brutal cops or COs. I'm never gonna like them. Okay. Because they're not worldly. They're not righteous. They're not good people.
Right.
To like. If anything, I talk to them and try to reform them. But it's a joke to them. But Clinton.
Say that again. What do you mean it's a joke?
Well, okay, for instance, a white officer in Attica told me one time, listen, why you black people, I had just came from my youngest daughter's funeral on February 5th, 2007. I came down to Benton's funeral home where she was there. Yeah. She was getting ready to turn 22. And so I come back and he says, why you guys have open caskets? So first I wanted to tear his head off, and then I caught myself. Like, you know, I have to educate this guy right here. You have to educate him. So I said, why y'all have closed caskets? Okay, if this is the last time I see my daughter in the flesh, I would like to see her. So I don't want to stand up and look at a closed coffin. Yeah. That coffin is nothing to me. It's what's in the coffin. So why wouldn't I want to see that? So you explain to me why you have closed coffins. So they're like, well, it's just what we do. I said, well, it's just what we do.
But all white people don't have closed caskets.
No, they don't, but I'm just saying. I know that, because we don't know what, but I'm just saying, a lot of them do. And that was always curious to me. I don't want to sit at a funeral in front of a closed coffin and not see the person. You understand what I'm saying? It's in the coffin, because it's not about the coffin, it's about the person in there. Right. So this was my retort to him. And so he thought about me like, well, you know, I gave him back what he gave me, okay? So you want to play this game? I can play this game with you, okay? And I just walked in the door coming from the funeral. So this is so we got to talk a little briefly about it.
Was he trying to really?
No, he wasn't joking with me, because the guy, honestly, he liked me.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them like me, but that's the wrong time to ask me that question.
Okay.
And so I'm still in mourning.
So he was honestly curious?
He was honestly curious.
Okay.
And I was honestly curious when I said it back to him. Why do y'all have a closed coffin? I was actually, I've been wanting to know that for years. Okay. But I guess that's something I won't know. But anyway, Attica, the cesspools of corruption and brutality and murders in New York State Department of Correction and Community Supervision. Attica, Clinton, Auburn, Green Haven, Coxsackie, Green, Fishkill, Downstate. Okay? Those right there, those 8 right there.
8. And what population are we talking about?
We are talking, these are the maxes, so the most you have in there is 2,600. Clinton has about 2,600 population capacity. But Clinton is not the largest capacity jail in the state. It's actually Gowanda, but Gowanda's a medium. But in maxes, Clinton holds the most, I think it's 2,600. I don't think any other max holds that
maximum, maximum means
maximum
people
security. Maximum security
level.
For felons, extreme felons.
Well, supposed to be, but you have kids in there that's 18 and 19 and for robberies, for larceny, taking a car.
Okay.
And so that's the prison industrial complex. But the brutality, like they have cameras in all these places now. They have body cams and all of that. Means nothing. Since they had the body cams in Great Meadows, which is Comstock, everybody's familiar with Comstock. They've killed 2 prisoners with body cams. They turned them off.
Okay.
Okay, this is just last year.
All right, let's show this video that you sent
This
to me.
is Clinton Correction Facility, and this is a person of color that was murdered by Clinton guards. I don't know him, I don't know his family, but I feel his pain, and it's hard for me to watch that.
Right,
But I want you to pay
play-
particular attention to the demeanor of the guards.
Okay.
Listen to what they're saying and watch their demeanor.
Just play that number 2.
He was leaning back into us because he was being non-compliant.
Inmate Strickland, you're going to comply with a strict press. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
I hope you do. The cuffs will be taken off, one hand at a time. Raise up, put it on the wall. You understand that?
Yeah.
All right.
He was pushing off the wall. We had to hold our hands up on his back just to keep him there.
How would you classify the pushing off the wall? Gently,
There was a lot of pressure.
violently?
Yes.
You got to stop resisting us. Put your hand on the wall. Strickland, you got to comply with the orders. Put your hand on the wall. Step to the wall. Put your hand on the wall. We have no compliance,
No
Sergeant.
compliance. Put it back up. Put his hands behind his back. Cuffs back on him.
No compliance. Put your hands back.
You want to see? You want to see?
Walk. Walk on your own. Walk on your own. Sergeant, refusing to walk.
Now entering Hospital 1 walkway.
Stand up.
We got some guys up here, Charlie. He's resisting
Listen to
everything.
me.
He's not use of force.
Let's make this easy. Just stand up.
You gonna stand? I'm going up by this.
Strickland, you don't see your walk.
Now entering the elevator, Hospital 1.
Yeah, well, we got rules right now, man.
Did you have any belief that inmate Strickland was in medical distress?
No, sir.
At any point in time, up to this 503 mark, did you check his pulse?
No, sir.
Did anybody in your presence check his pulse?
No, sir.
Did anybody check his breathing?
No, sir.
Strickland, you all stand up. Let's go.
Come on.
There's no inmates one, Jody. Downstairs, no, he won't let anybody do it. We can't even get in post on him. He just got no use force on him.
He's assault up.
12, I'm right here.
Oh, okay. Forget it. I didn't know you had the yard. What do you want? 3 officers.
Just get him on his back. Get him on his back.
What, if any, was the reason that the handcuffs remained on inmate Strickland?
At this point, medical's involved, but he's still a disciplinary problem to me. There's been no call made on what's going on with him, so I'm not going to take the handcuffs off him.
But what risk was inmate Strickland posing from a disciplinary reason?
You don't know the risk.
You know what, quite frankly, I've got to intubate this fella.
Oh, absolutely. Is there any way we can get those cuffs off the back of him?
Yes.
Let's keep the stretcher up here. We're gonna need some help to get him out. I don't want to. Not at this moment. Let's be careful. 1, 2, 3. Up. Okay, guys, we're gonna bring him up.
You know, the officer is saying, we're going to take you
Come back to me.
by the hand. Put your hand up.
Welcome back. Now, as far as I can see, he seemed like he was dead once he hit the floor.
He was.
I mean, there's no reason for them to handle a person like that. They should be trying to talk to him, trying to see if he's all right. That was complete inhumane. I mean, obviously that's the case, but something like they were just trying to cover up something. I mean, it reminds me of Eric Gardner. You know, I'm sure you thought of that right off. I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Obviously, initially he says he responds to one of the commands about, but you can hear it in his voice that was kind of weak and.
Because he was already beaten up.
He was beaten up before that.
They're not going to show you that. I wish I could get that video because they have cameras of that. They will guard that until the planet implodes. They would never release that.
So they'd already beaten him up
Right.
when he was up against the wall.
Before they even brought him to the stage, right? They knew they had killed him. They know he was dying. So this is why they did all of this. They usually don't do this. They did all this to show that we didn't really beat him up or nothing. They don't show that part. They show the end result of their savagery, the murder.
But they
of
said,
him.
don't resist, and you could see he wasn't resisting.
Curiously, the COs in there were saying, the testimony you heard was actually a civil case.
What?
A civil case. It was
They were
being
doing a
questioned by an
deposition?
attorney. They were doing a deposition. So they said, was he violent? I said, yes, he was violent. How was he violent? He was pushing. Was he pushing hard? No, not once did he ever push.
You didn't see anybody
Any of that.
moving there?
Didn't see
Nothing.
anything.
So he said, well, wait a minute. He had a mental problem? Yes, he said, but to me, it's a disciplinary problem.
To him.
Now, one thing to this man do, the deceased brother, do to justify the response that they gave in the deposition. It's contrary to everything they said. You've seen
Right.
it, you heard it.
Right.
Why did they beat him up in the first place?
Well, they're not going to tell us that. You don't have, well,
Did you ever find out? Does anybody know?
allegedly he was in his SHU cell, special housing unit cell.
Okay.
And they felt that he should go up to mental health. So let me tell you the curious thing about that. When the officer wants to put you on what they call a SHIT list, so what they do is they write a fake psych write-up. Now, if you don't come out your cell to go, they come in your cell, cameras don't see, beat you up, change you up, and do the same thing, which is what happened with him. He refused to go because, well, I don't want to go up there. I know y'all want to take me over there and do something to me. Because there's no witnesses and nothing. They were like isolating you. So this is what happened in this case.
He was already
He
in.
pissed some officer off. First, he's black. And so he pissed. One of the, maybe, you know, he had a bad day, or a lot of them have bad days up there. And so he pissed him off. So they get a sergeant, and the lieutenants, high-ups, really don't want a part of that. So they let it all ride on the sergeant. He calls the whole shot because he runs the unit, and that's it, So then they get him out of the cell. You come out by force, we're going to gas you, come in and get him. So more likely they got him out of the cell that way. We don't know what happened to him while he was in the cell, except for people that was around the cell. But between leaving that cell and getting to the stage you saw him, he was murdered. This was clearly a murder. Clearly first-degree murder. He's unarmed. He has nothing on but underwear and a T-shirt. He don't even have anything on his feet. He has no weapons. They didn't even say anything about any weapons. Why is he dead? And he's in handcuffs. He can't even stand up, for crying out loud. They're holding him up and saying he's resisting. But you're holding him up because you know he's
Yeah,
dead.
you see that. You see that.
This is a recurring occurrence all over the state in the prisons that I named. They have 8 or 9 unsolved murders that they call them suspicious deaths. And the local district attorneys in these counties refuse to even investigate these murders. The Inspector General for DOCCS has no more authority than the dog catcher down the block. Okay? Can't even talk to them without the union rep. Can't even get into jail. Okay? The state attorney, Captain Leahy Scott, useless. Political rhetoric and public relations spill, but nothing's ever done.
So you have, several organizations that are dealing with all this, including Victor and this solitary confinement bill that's coming up?
Halt solitary confinement campaign.
All right. Are you involved with Victor in this solitary confinement?
Well, first, I have my two organizations.
Okay.
My first organization I founded these while incarcerated. State Offender Remorse Redemption Yield, Akram Sari, and National Organization Movement on Guns, No More Guns. It's documented what I do with those organizations, stopping black on black crime, trying to get illegal guns out the hood, keep our children safe so they can walk down the street, be in the playgrounds and parks and this and that, while be shot by stray bullets, trying to stop brothers from killing each other senselessly. Okay? I'm not about unarming them. I'm about stopping them from killing each other. I don't want your gun. I just want you to stop using it. You understand?
Well, you
Stop
got to get
using
rid
it.
of the guns, man.
Well, you can let the authorities take the gun. Don't bring it to me. I don't want to see it. I don't want to touch it. I just want you to stop terrorizing and killing our people and endangering our children and our communities. I want you to stop it.
That's the biggest enemy we have.
The biggest enemy to the black man is the black man.
Amen.
And the number one reason for that is ignorance. Okay. See, in our time when we grew up, get your ass over here. And I listened. Tried to talk to a kid last week. Get out of here, Pop, you washed up. Get out of here, you washed up.
How old was he?
Youngster.
19 to 20.
Yeah. Well,
You washed up.
yeah, you old. Well, you're going to get a lot of that from youth. We did it too, didn't we?
No,
Not to that
quite
extent.
to that extent.
No. You wasn't allowed to do that. You wasn't
get
allowed
your
to do
mouth
that.
jacked.
What did I say?
Your jaw would have been broken.
I still have some scars. So no, this
I said the
ACS,
wrong thing there.
No, we don't- we
ACS
didn't
they
need
have
that.
now
We
that
didn't
they
need that.
called BCW back then.
Right.
BCW, they didn't save me from ironing boards and sticks and punches and all that. No, that's what's missing, man.
Okay.
When the great-grandparents and the grandparents from our eras back then, when they died, the black family died.
Yeah.
Okay, if you compare the society today, our people of color society today, and transpose it with the 1960s and 70s with the people in the community, the aunts, the grandmothers.
Yeah.
Because it was the women.
Oh, yeah.
The women, okay? The women. You wouldn't see this. You couldn't see, I couldn't come over to my girlfriend's house and be in her bedroom. I could barely get in the door.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Okay?
That's right.
There's no kissing and all that. None of that. You sat proper. You sat with an adult in there. Okay, at the proper time, you get your ass out and go home. Okay? That's it.
That's old school.
This is a decadent society we're in now. And it's our people have lost the values and morals. And a lot of people don't like to hear this. And I'm going to repeatedly say it. I say it all the time. We are the greatest people on the planet.
Spiritual.
And that's a fact. Without us, all other civilizations extend from us. This is a fact. This is a documented historical fact. Whether you read the Bible, whether you read the Torah, it don't hide that fact. And we're spiritual people.
With
like
all
you
that,
said.
we can't get along with each other.
Well, because
Now, what is that?
they've lost what I just said.
Okay.
The morals and values of then as opposed to now.
Okay.
Okay? You didn't see none of this nonsense during slavery. You didn't see none of it, well, allegedly post-slavery, I'll say it like that. Because slavery still exists, according to the 13th Amendment. And the curious thing about that is that the 13th Amendment The U.S. Supreme Court has never ruled that slavery was unconstitutional. It was only abrogated by the 13th Amendment. So no judges have ever said that it's unconstitutional, just that the 13th Amendment abrogated. So as far as I'm concerned, and slavery still exists.
And they changed the paradigm from the physical to the psychological.
Why is it when we, as black men, become a part of the system and try to make our way, navigate our way through all the problems and racial, when we become successful, the people that don't make it or think that we should be doing something else, the different organizations, they call a black man a sellout if he's corporate or if he's doing something that is hard, difficult to do. And crabs in the barrel is what I'm really referring to. How is it that we're always pulling people down that are up there already? You know, like Reverend Sharpton running for president. I have a clip on it, but I see a lot of people getting on Rev because he's doing what he's doing, or not really giving Obama the respect that he deserved. Or I know a lot of brothers got on Obama because his mother was white, that he wasn't black enough, and yet he achieved everything that any of us should be able to achieve by doing the right thing. We have to participate in this environment that we're in. There's no packing up and going back to Africa. That's not going to happen. We spent too much time here, 400 years. I want to throw up the fences and claim Harlem, my homeland, and have all the foreigners pay duty when they come through.
Listen, if America belongs to anybody, it belongs to the black man.
Amen.
There would be no America without this.
That's right.
That's a fact. And I put a post up a few weeks ago, and I'm gonna get back to your second chance in a minute. I put a post up a few weeks ago. I was on the train somewhere heading to an event. I think it was at the Boys and Girls Republic. It was on the east side with rap. And it was all Caucasians on the train, just standing room only. So I took pictures of them. And then I put the post up. Their easement is because of us and our ancestors. So they were looking at me like I don't belong. And so I did a post about it, put their picture up there with it. No, your easement right now, the way you're on this train and the way that you feel uncomfortable around me, but your easement is because of our ancestors. Okay? This train don't belong to you. You should appreciate me. You should be, every one of you should be coming thanking me for my ancestors.
But you know, everybody's selfish and self-centered, and they think about themselves. I mean, that's about as plain as I can get about humankind. Everybody's going to look out for them and those that are close to them. And it's a selfish thing, and that's called survival. You're going to look out for you and yours. And it has to come back to the community idea that we used to have, where we looked out for one another, and it's still there in some situations. I know Nan is, you know, Victor's at Nan, and I've been there 21 years. And people still throw darts at Sharpton. And it's amazing, because we see what he's doing, because we're part of it. The reason why you're here is because you came to National Action Network. And everybody that comes on the show through Victor is through Nan. Yet we have brothers cutting Sharpton down. And I just want to run a little piece here, just for fun. And run number 3. And this is Reverend Sharpton in 84, the year you went to prison. Running for president.
The old Sharpton.
The old Sharpton.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to address my remarks in two parts. One, I'm honored to address the delegates here. Last Friday, I had the experience in Detroit of hearing President George Bush make a speech. And in the speech, he asked certain questions. I hope he's watching tonight. I would like to answer your questions, Mr. President. To our chairman, our delegates, and all that are assembled, we're honored and glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to be joined by supporters and friends from around the country. I'm glad to be joined by my family, Kathy, Dominique, who will be 18, and Ashley. We are here 282 years after, right here in Boston, we fought to establish the freedoms of America. The first person to die in the Revolutionary War is buried not far from here, a black man from Barbados named Crispus Attucks. 40 years ago, in 1964, Fannie Lou Hamer and the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party stood at the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City, fighting to preserve voting rights for all Americans and all Democrats, regardless of race or gender. Hamer's stand inspired Dr. King's March in Selma, which brought about the Voting Rights Act of 1965. 20 years ago, Reverend Jesse Jackson stood at the Democratic National Convention in San Francisco, again appealing to preserve those freedoms. Tonight, we stand with those freedoms at risk and our security as citizens in question. I have come here tonight to say the only choice we have to preserve our freedom at this point in history is to elect John Kerry, the President of the United States. I stood with both John Kerry and John Edwards over 30 occasions in debates during the primary season. I not only debated them, I watched them. I observed their deeds. I looked into their eyes. I am convinced that they are men who say what they mean and mean what they say. I am also convinced that at a time when a vicious spirit in the body politic of this country that attempts to undermine America's freedoms, our civil rights, our civil liberties, we must leave this city and go forth and organize this nation for victory for our party and John Kerry and John Edwards in November. But let me quickly say, this is not just about winning an election. It's about preserving the principles on which this very nation was founded. Look at the current view of our nation worldwide as a result of our unilateral foreign policy. We went from unprecedented international support and solidarity on September 12, 2001, to hostility and hatred as we stand here tonight. We can't survive in the world by ourselves. How did we squander this opportunity to unite the world?
Well, that's a little taste of 204. I said 84.
Right.
I'm getting senile. But, you know, this This is what we need to do. I think we all need to get involved with the political system. There's no doubt about it. You got the census coming up 2020, and every black man on the planet, that should be a part of it. All those guys in prison should be counted in the census.
Well, they are now.
They are now?
They are now, according to, as of 2000.
But it goes
18.
to represent the county that their prison is in, though.
No. That was that's done.
They did away with that.
They did away with
changed that?
All prisons are counted from where they're from now.
Residents.
Where they're from now?
They're all
That's excellent.
And we all get to vote. Parolees don't all get to vote now.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes, I vote in all elections, so I got voter registration card and all.
Okay, great.
So that was
Governor Cuomo signed that
Governor
bill.
Cuomo signed that one.
Okay.
Executive order.
There's the court with some powerful people in Albany and a lot of resistance from upstate finally said, you're right, these people are supposed to be counted where they're from, not where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's correct now. So they're counted officially now as of last year, I think it was January of last year, or it could be the year before, but you're familiar with that.
That's the gerrymandering law.
Yeah.
But I want to touch on something else that I didn't get to finish. Victor right here. I'm a member of National Action Network now, dues paying member, thanks to Victor.
It's a great place to be.
Victor runs the Second Chance Committee there. And I told Victor, you know, what good is a second chance if you're not alive to receive it?
Right.
You have to make it out of the system
That's
in order to
right.
receive the second chance.
That's right.
I met Victor, and me and him have been like this since day one. In fact, on my page, he's on there. We're in a picture together at NAN office at 40th Street. And everybody said, who is that little guy next to you? I said, he's not a little guy, I'm a big guy. I said, yeah. So Victor is doing excellent work.
Okay.
I love Victor.
Well, you know, you've got to get everybody to come to NAN. NAN is a happy family. You know, I call Saturdays church. It's church for me.
Well, you can't drag them, you can't force them, but the same way I'm there.
You can't force it?
Many more coming behind me.
Okay.
Okay, it's what
Well, you're an example. People have seen you here on the Gilchrist Experience.
Right.
Well, see, nobody, well, perfect, yes, but that's God's too.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so nobody had to get me to come there. Victor tell you, I came there, I was mad. Victor, I came in there mad, in the door mad.
Of course.
Yo, why this man is not speaking about what's going on in the line? Okay. So then after we had a few discussions and meetings, and then I talked to Mr. Sharp.
He mentioned you last Saturday.
Yeah, he mentioned me. Mr. Sharp, yeah, we took the picture together, and it's on my page. And he explained to me, and Victor, and William Allen, they sat me down and talked to me and said, well, listen, you know, I understand. And some other people, I don't know their names, but it's all courteous. Okay? And they explained, listen, he really doesn't know about this because he's in too much stuff. So I'm saying, well, wait a minute. If he doesn't know about it, then he knows people. Anyway.
Well, you know, they say that when you join NAN, you start your own committee if you want to. You're given an opportunity to bring your whatever your beef is. You bring it to NAN, and if you have the way of it all to form your own committee, he tells that to anybody that joins NAN. And that's why I love it, because where else can black people go?
Yeah.
Where else we got to go?
And let me just
I would like him to
mention
explain some of what
one of the things why, when I came to NAN in 2009, you know, first time going up to NAN, I heard Al Sharpton talk many times, and it was kind of really impressive. I walked in there and I came to a meeting, and they said, well, if anybody here would like to, you know, contribute to NAN, or is there anything that you think that we should do here at NAN that, you know, you have an opportunity? And I spoke up and I said, yeah, I'd like to see something here for NAN that helps the formerly incarcerated return and transition back to our community. Do you have a committee about that? They said no, but if you're interested in starting one, have at it. Since 2009, Second Chance has existed. And Second Chance is platformed and built upon helping the returning people from incarceration to back to our societies, as well as the other part of it is doing the advocacy and criminal justice legislative work to change the laws and the policies of our prisons and jails. And one of the things that we have undertaken, which I'm a statewide organizer for, is the Halt Solitary campaign, which speaks to this horrible situation of people being placed in solitary confinement for long periods of time, being treated inhumanely. So we currently have a bill pending in Albany that will change that, called the HALT bill. We are going to Albany again January 21st for a big advocacy day. We have a host of other organizations that are doing criminal justice reform work. And where we are with the HALT bill, hopefully we'll get the bill passed this next coming legislative session. We got it passed in the Assembly 2018. We're looking forward to have it passed in both houses.
What's holding it up?
Well, let me say our biggest opponents is NYSCOBA, New York State Correctional Officers Benevolent Association, which is totally against it. Correctional Officers Association.
The biggest union in the state.
The union.
Money and influence. They're in bed with Governor Cuomo.
Correctional officers.
Correctional officers. The people who are responsible for safety, security, care, and custody and all that stuff.
Same people were...
Same people. So we're working on getting that bill passed, and Second Chance has been a part of that advocacy effort for 6 years, since 2012 when we had the bill introduced. And we have brothers like Donald here that are part of our campaign, and people that have direct been impacted by solitary confinement, as well as myself, as well as this film that you've seen about the brother that was murdered. And we are looking to get this bill passed so these type of things will no longer continue to happen. And one last thing I'd like to say is that I'm glad that I met this brother, because we're everywhere together. So we hopefully this will happen.
Bye, Manhattan. Power to the people. God in me loves the God in you. Stay tuned for more. We got another minute for the Bronx.
Yeah, so so the work that we're doing with Second Chance, and thanks to Reverend Sharpton for allowing me to bring the Second Chance to the National Action Network, which also gives opportunity and platform for me to highlight brothers like himself who are coming home back to our community and show the transformation as well as what they have to contribute back to our community, why people deserve second, third, fourth, and fifth chances.
Amen.
But this platform by which we are able to do this work is thankful to Reverend Sharpton for allowing me to operate Second Chance, bring brothers like himself on, and you for your show.
If we've learned anything from this program, is that you need God. You need God in your life, and that's what we say here every week. Put God in your life, and power to the people, and the God in me again loves the God in you. And that's a powerful statement, but take hold of it, see what happens. Try God. Power to the people. God bless.
Power to the people.
And his phone didn't ring.
He left it in the back.
I got it right here. That's a running joke we got.
Oh yeah.
He always
rang last week. You weren't here, but it rang last week.
He always tells people to turn their phone.
But that was a